in our Facebook group. We haven't popped in to see you for a little while, so we just thought we'd do a little ad hoc appearance and say hello.
Hello.
Don't even know if anyone's there.
I don't. So we was hoping that we could record this for our YouTube channel as well, but I don't think there's a way to do it. So we'll have to see if it just automatically does it or not, but it's not letting me do it, so we might have to find a new way.
Oh, right. So anyway, there's loads of questions in the group about, and comments, not necessarily questions. And I know you've got a few things you want to talk about, but there's quite a lot on eating and food and nutrition, because people now are quite away. Some people are quite away along the journey and they want some tips on losing weight. And it's so hard in this current situation. I mean, I know I've actually put on weight during lockdown. So what tips can we give?
All right. So, what for eating?
I think eating and exercise. Exercise is a hard one at the minute because you've only got your daily exercise, haven't you? I know you've taken up running. You're doing the Couch to 5K, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I just want to say, if anybody's there, I can see that people are there, but it's not showing us people's names. So I'm really sorry if we read out what you've said, but it doesn't show your name on this app that we're using to be live in the group. I know somebody else there has just said, I keep eating badly. We're with you.
Me too.
We're with you. Sorry, go on.
I do think there's an element of having to forgive yourself because this isn't normality. But if you're anything like me, you are paranoid and panicking that you're going to be putting on weight that you can't undo. But I think the main thing, first of all, you've got to protect your sobriety. So if eating a big chocolate cake means that you're not going to pick up a drink, then go for it. If you are somebody, though, who does have, and probably you are, because I know we are, addictive kind of traits, and you could quite easily become addicted to chocolate or addicted to coffee or addicted to whatever, then you do need to sort of rein it in and get it under control. The main thing that I find I do is if I've got, you sell Coleman's, don't you?
Oh no, I just did that the other week. It's not something.
Well, I tried it, right? And I tried it, and they were disgusting. So don't do that.
It's better last longer.
It does, you can't bloody chew it.
You know what? I did realise actually after I stopped drinking about addictive traits, and I realised as much as I was a binge drinker, I can very easily be a binge eater as well.
Yeah.
So for me, what works for me is actually allowing myself things a lot more. I was a Slimming World consultant for a very long time. As well, so this is kind of not something that I would have told people back then, but for me personally, what seems to work is allowing myself things. So say I've got soup for my dinner. When I was doing Slimming World or I was dieting, I'd never have the bread or the butter. And then by the end of the day, because I'd restricted myself from all these things, I found that I was like really binge eating. So because I felt hard done to, so at night I was a proper secret eater. Can I just tell you something, right? When I was doing Slimming World, I remember once, and I wasn't vegan then, right? And I went into the local sandwich shop, and I'd ordered dinners for everybody in the office, and then I ordered some pies, right? And I fully said to the woman behind the counter, "Oh gosh, I nearly forgot that that meat and potato pie for her in the office. She'd have gone mad, right?" And it was a lie. It was all for me, and I just, because I was known as a Slimming World consultant at that time, and everybody knew in the village what I did, so I could not say this pie was for me, right? And then I totally sneakily ate it in the car, but that's what I used to do. I know, it was really, really bad. So yeah, allowing yourself sometimes, like let yourself have the bread with the soup, and then you're not kind of craving at the end of the night for anything, but also really early in sobriety. Like you said, if you'd rather have that than pick up a drink, that's kind of what you've got to do. And I think it took me a good 7 or 8 months before I really thought, you know what, now I'm going to take control.
Well, I'm way past there and I'm still eating.
of the eating, but it's easy to do. And I just think if you can, try and snack on good. Don't buy it in. if you're going out and you're buying it, right, then it's your own bloody fault for buying it. Stop buying it.
It's hard when you've got kids though, right? Because I've got 3 kids and I'm not going to deprive them because I want to watch my waistline. So yeah, I'm not gorging them on sweets. But you know what I found myself doing is just like every now and again I open the cupboard and I think, oh, almonds, piece of dairy milk. Yeah, piece of dairy milk.
I
Do you know?
know.
It's really hard. But can I just point out as well, if you're wondering why Lisa's talking about having a dinner in the office and you're from down south, dinner's lunch. Oh, she means lunch.
No, I just work very long hours.
Oh yeah, you do actually. But anyway, so I think nutrition wise, first of all, you need to get a routine going, and I know that's really hard at the minute, but you do need to stick to a routine so you're not picking food all day long. So if you're working from home, for example, I would say that make sure you still take a lunch break, because otherwise what you do is you do that, you go in your cupboard and you just get something for the kids like I do and have a little bit of something for yourself as well. And the other thing is that I find really helps me, if I prepare some healthy snacks the night before for the next day, so like some carrot sticks and some celery and some nuts and some pieces of cheese, and I eat keto, so I can eat fat and dairy, but I would find a nutrition plan that works for you as well. So you know, if it's a vegan diet you're having, then make sure you've got the right snacks available. If it's a keto diet, make sure you've got the right snacks available. And yeah, allow yourself, you know, your treat day or your treat hour or whatever you want to call it, because we are in an unusual situation. If you were all at work or your kids were in school or whatever, you probably wouldn't have all this in. So I think you do need to cut yourself a little bit of slack at this time as well. Brush your teeth twice a day.
You know what I'm not loving about this conversation is that somebody's just put chocolate and coffee, and I swear to God, I would love that right now. It makes it taste so much nicer, doesn't it? And somebody else there has just said, yeah, kids are entirely responsible for the bad food. Kids are responsible for everything.
They are. But are we actually helping anyone right now? Because I don't know if we are, or we're just encouraging them to pig out.
No, I think, yeah, just making really healthy choices. You feel better as well. Let's discuss exercise a little bit, because this is something that we've both been working at this last couple of weeks, and we've been able to encourage each other. So if you haven't got anybody to give you that push, then that's what we're here for right now. Because I've got to be really honest, running for me I find really difficult, and that's always been your go-to, hasn't it?
Yeah, until lockdown.
But what's massively helped me is downloading the Couch to 5K app. So if you don't like running or you think you're rubbish at running, it's just brilliant. It's literally helps you get off the couch and eventually gets you to 5K. And I think when you can start small, because I hate starting again, me. I want to be good at everything. I want to be able to just get up and be able to run 5K. So it kind of frustrates me that I can't do, whereas that app makes you feel better about it, and it kind of gradually increases your fitness levels. So I ran all the way around the lake near me the other day for the first time without stopping, and it was all down to that app. And I didn't even want to go that night, but we had a conversation about discipline over motivation.
Yeah, and that for me, so the other day, I'm in a very similar position to Lisa at the minute, in that I run for honestly, I'm Forrest Gump, right? In more than one way as well, may I add, but I am Forrest Gump. I can run and run and run and run. Anyway, I couldn't be bothered. I've not even been bothered to get my trainers on. I've even been doing a bit of exercise at home. I've just been like, oh, I can't do it. So I phoned Lisa up and I said, Lisa, I just can't be bothered. I can't. And I know why she's laughing, because I'm going to tell you, you've got two choices, Alex. Sit with the fact that you sat on your fat, lazy ass. Not in those words, they're my words. Number 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 it, and get yourself out. And even that, I was thinking, oh, you know what, 5, 4, 3. But I couldn't sit with being fat either. I couldn't sit and be happy with being unhappy, if that makes sense. I didn't want to sit there and think I'm going to feel fat and I'm going to feel horrible and I'm going to feel sluggish and I'm going to feel like I've eaten all this crap. I wasn't coping with that either. So my only choice really was to get up and go. Otherwise, I'd have just made myself miserable. What I did was I did what I do with drink, and I thought, right, if I go out for a run now, it's going to be really hard getting out the door. And the first minute's going to be really hard, maybe even the first 5. But then when I'm on it, I'm going to start to feel positive. And when I get back, I'm going to feel well good that I've done it, right? So I kind of played it forwards, and it's exactly what I do when I think, not anymore, but when I used to think about picking up a drink, I'd think, right, how am I going to feel if I pick up that drink? I'm going to feel disappointed. I'm going to feel ashamed. I'm going to feel sad. I'm going to get a hangover. So I think playing it forwards and discipline over motivation are our 2 top tips for getting yourself going, because you're not going to want to do it. Nobody in the history of anybody, they're liars if they're telling you this, nobody in the history of anybody thought, yay, I'm going to go out for a run, until you've been doing it a while.
I think that's it. Sometimes you do get that motivation though, don't you? And you think, right, that's it, tomorrow I am on it. And you get up and you put your stuff on, and then you go, and then you kind of get carried away with it again if you've got an addictive personality. Like if I run in the morning and it's made me feel good, I'm the type of person that sits there all day going, I'm going to do that again later. I'm going to do that again later. And I've got to stop myself, because then what happens is when that motivation suddenly stops, which it does, it's just natural that the motivation sometimes stop. That's when you've got to bring the discipline in. So like the other day I'd said, I promised myself, you know what, no matter how you feel, go out and run, or go out and walk. And then if you feel like running, then do that. But if you promise yourself, it's definitely discipline over motivation. And if you've got both, then you're on fire.
You know, the other analogy to think of is, it's like with anything like you've just said. So when you first start a new job, you're like, yes, brilliant, new job. Give it 6 months and you're thinking, oh God, I wish I could stay at home. Or, you know, it's anything, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It does die down, because I've been running for years. Since about 2014, I've been doing regular runs. You can't possibly hold on to the love and passion of something unless it's your husband or your wife or your partner or whatever, I suppose.
All right. Moving on swiftly. So I love this. Somebody said, only exercise I get is going to the kitchen, to the fridge.
It's like us. But
move your fridge. Move it somewhere else so it's further away.
Your fridge out further, so at least you're getting double the exercise. Or go and sit further away. The other one here is, I'd love to develop an exercise addiction. They do reckon that ex-drinkers are more likely to develop healthy addictions as well, but you're not going to get that by thinking about doing it. So I saw a post the other day, and as brutal as this sounds, it said something along the lines of, like, you can see a new path ahead, but if you just sit there, you're not going to be able to walk down it. Something like that. I might have made that up, but it's
what? Say that again. Sorry, I got distracted because somebody just put you two are hilarious, and then I was looking at your face thinking, so then I completely missed what you were saying.
Well, I'm saying, I think I've made it up. I think I've just made an absolute lie up. Right?
You do make stuff up, you know.
I do.
You used to do it when we go out. When we used to go out, you'd said that we'd done stuff, right? And you go, wouldn't we, Lisa? And I'd go, yeah. And then I'd be like, I don't remember that. I think you've made it up.
No, it's just because you were blacked out. You don't remember. I didn't really make it up. No, I think I saw a post genuinely, and it wasn't these words at all, but it was along the lines of, like, even if there's a new path ahead, you're not going to be able to go down it unless you walk along it. You know, like, stop. In there, it wasn't as wordy and as boring as that.
We should put that as one of our quotes.
That might take up too many bits, tell you. But no, I think it's true though, isn't it? You can, I keep thinking to myself, oh, I really wish I could lose a bit of weight, or I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. Like the other week I was like, I wish I could get a new job. And then I was thinking, well, I'm not going to get a new job when I hadn't applied for any. So I started applying and I've got a new one.
Well, there you go. See, someone's just said here that, so I need to get up and move, and I'm going to be dead honest. Yes, you need to get up and move, because honest to God, you will feel so much better once you've done it. Even if you start really, really small. I'm not saying you've got to do Joe Wicks every morning. Like, come on, guys, that is a bit excessive.
I can't even get out of bed for Joe Wicks in the morning.
I did 10 minutes of Joe Wicks with Olivia. I was like, right, come on, it's your PE lesson today. It's like, I said, no, seriously, let's do it. People are doing this and it's making them feel good. 10 minutes, that was enough for me. And I think just be careful. There's a lot on social media at the moment of people doing all this amazing fitness and running and super mums and all that stuff. You know what? Just do what is good for you. Do what's best for you. And
and you know what? You're not those people on social media. If you do better than you did yesterday, that's where you're comparing yourself to, not to some super yogi bunny fitness cake making mother that's got it all under control. Can I just say something else as well about these super mums?
Yeah.
You might be a super mum. Congratulations if you are. I am.
She looks really pleased for you.
You might be a super mum or a super dad, right? If you are, you can come into this and tell me how to do it. Right, I am a teacher. I can't homeschool my kids, right? I can't. You all need to lighten up and give yourself a break, because you know what? The whole world is on lockdown. All the kids are going to be as thick as each other. Right? I promise you, right? Us teachers are going to have to catch them all up. So I am being flippant there, but just give yourself a break. The teachers are there. Yes, you need to keep the minds active and keep doing things. But you know what? If you're doing a bit of baking, or you're making Play-Doh models, or you're doing a bit of painting, or you're counting with your young ones, if you're doing something, that's enough, because the teachers' jobs are to catch them all back up and put them at the right point, not your job. Like, you've got enough on your plate. We're trying to stay thin.
Oh, which you don't have to do, by the way. I'm really into this body confidence. I followed a few people on Instagram, and I went to see a girl called Body Posy Panda. So if you do have Instagram, please check her out, because she is amazing. And she talks a lot like we do about alcohol. She talks about food and how we've been sold this ridiculous image of what we should look like. And it is absolute bollocks. It's a marketer's, you know, it was all marketing about this wonderful image. So you know what, don't try and be something that you are not. It's learning to be happy in yourself. And I think that comes as well with stopping drinking.
It does, definitely.
I think that's why I wasn't as bothered in the first few months. Yeah, I was eating more, but you know what, I weren't going out making an absolute twallop of myself and throwing kebabs down my neck. Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got to balance it out. I wanted to speak about something that happened yesterday in a supermarket. it wasn't terrible, but I went to Aldi yesterday for some shopping, and we had to queue up. You can only queue up down one aisle, and it happened to be the alcohol aisle. The same in Tesco's as well. That's where the queue is. So they've got to queue through the alcohol aisle. And it really, really got me thinking, because I'm just over 21 months of not drinking. I am the most happy, sober person you will ever meet in your life, right? I love it. I love talking about it. And I'm very, very confident in my sobriety. Like, you know, I've had a lot of bad things happen, a lot of good things happen, and for me, I don't get tempted. Also, I thought. So I'm queuing up on this alcohol aisle, and I'm looking at people choosing the drinks while I'm, you know, stood there with my trolley. Then I happened to spot a bottle of wine that I used to drink. So I started thinking about this bottle of wine that I used to drink, and where I used to drink it, and the moments that I'd had with it. And the further and the longer I was in this queue, the more I found myself really, really thinking about drinking, a lot more than I ever would before. So I just kind of wanted to broach the subject, because I'm sure I'm not on my own. I'm not the only person that has had to queue in an aisle full of alcohol. And it's all right if you're whizzing past it, or you're choosing to not go down that aisle when you're going shopping. But it really took me by surprise yesterday, where my thoughts.
Not good, that, is it?
No, because you get that little thing of like, just looking back at memories, and you know, like we say, some of them aren't genuine memories. You often romanticize having a drink, don't you? And the reality isn't all that. But also, we did have good times. So it was just kind of, I had to really, really watch myself and be thinking like, why am I thinking this? So I didn't want one. And I, you know, but I did. This is what came into my head, if I'm going to be really honest. I could just throw a bottle of that in my trolley now. Nobody would know, and I could just throw a bottle in my trolley. And for that to cross my mind when I am so confident in my sobriety really made me think how difficult it must be for people that aren't as confident.
Yeah,
or
are
as,
newly sober.
yeah, because it's just really, really easy to do. I love somebody's just said rose tinted specs there. As like actually mine, or the fact that I was thinking about. But yeah, so I got through that moment, and I never did it, and I'm very glad that I didn't.
You
But
wouldn't have done it.
no, I wouldn't have done it. But it's the fact that it's there, and just be ready for it. I think it's preparing to you. It's always having something like I did that, Alex, because we talk about it, and you did it with exercise about playing it forward. It was like, where would that really get me if I did do it? Like, it'd be just awful. Well, one, the sober experiment would be gone. 2, I'd feel disgusting. And 3, I just want to show you this because we shared this on our Instagram yesterday, and always in my mind is this.
Oh, it's disgusting.
I've even got my glasses on today. Oh my God, I bet I don't even look
Where's my hair? That's what I want to know.
If I lie down, I bet I look exactly the same.
You do not.
But this, guys, is what was in my head. So
what's it with my nose? I mean, I know it's quite a wide nose, but look at it on there. It's like a potato.
You do look terrible, Alex.
Oh.
But yeah, I think it's reminding yourself, even having it ready at that point, or on your phone, you know, like having a picture or a list of things to remind you why you've stopped drinking.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is as well, somebody's just put down about moderation. I always say this, and I'm with you, right? If we could moderate, us guys in this group, and me and Lisa, we wouldn't be in this group. You would not be in this group if you could moderate. Is there even such a thing as moderation? I think that's just bull that somebody says they can moderate. I know very few people who literally do have one and then no other. And it's always like shocked me that they can have one and put it down. And I think, well, do they not think about it? Do they not have to control themselves? The second you're thinking, I want another, but I'm not going to do, is the second you've got a bit of a dependency. That's a fact. And, you know, I was one who acted on it. One glass would have never been enough. In fact, one bottle was never enough for me.
I remember when I went to a restaurant a good few months, well, obviously it was ages ago, because we can't go anywhere. But there was like 2 women sat at a table opposite, and it was really weird because they'd got a bottle of red wine and they both had a glass, and I'd had my starter, my main, and my dessert, because I have them now, I don't drink, right? So I like to have all 3 courses. And I looked over and they still had like the glass, like they'd not drank the wine. They were genuinely just sipping this wine. And I remember thinking that would never ever have happened. Imagine me and you going out, like, and we were still on the first glass after 3 courses.
Well, that is an imagine, isn't it?
Well, that's what I mean. It just wouldn't have happened. But I just thought it was quite amazing. So I wonder if there is people that can do it. But I think if you're at this point where you're really thinking alcohol's become a problem, or you're drinking more than you want to, then I think we all realise that we're not the type of people that can moderate.
You know what it is for me? It's the effort it takes to control it. So I have got a lot of self-control, as you well know. So I could, if I absolutely wanted to, say I'm only going to drink on a Friday and that'll be it. And then I wouldn't drink. But then all week you're thinking about, it's constant. Chatter for me. I'd rather have nothing at all and not be thinking about drinking all the time. You know, in one way or another, like, I feel like rubbish this morning because I had a drink last night. I'm not going to have any tonight. All right, by lunchtime, well, maybe I can have one later. And then, I'll have a couple. You know, on our podcast with Sober Dave. I think it's just constant chatter, isn't it?
I think where that person has just said that about that happened to them and they had to queue in the alcohol aisle, so they left the shop because moderation came to mind, but they know they can't go there. I think it's just a natural thing and I don't know whether you have read Claire Pooley's the Sober Diaries, but she talks about the Wine Witch, doesn't she? And Janie Lee Grace has got an ebook out.
It's really short. It's like 10 pages as well.
And it's fabulous, and it talks about that, and that is that's that voice in your head, isn't it, telling you that you might be able to do it, and it's kind of going, right, bugger off. Someone just said, Alex,
before we go on to the other, I can see that. Before you go on to that, the other one to say is things like, you know, like when you go on holiday. I remember having this when I went on my first sober holiday and thinking, right, well, I've done a few months now, so I'll be all right. I've proved I can control it. It's about complacency, isn't it? You kind of tricking yourself to believe you're all right, because that's what you want to believe.
Believe
that. I would never swap this life back for my old one.
Oh, never. Oh,
so there is another question here, isn't there? Sorry.
Someone's just said, how do you tell someone that moderation is a myth when they're in total denial, or is that too big a question?
We talked about this yesterday, you know, and sometimes it depends who the someone is, first of all, I think. So like I could be much more honest with Lisa, and she could be much more honest with me than you can be with, say, your partner. So if Lisa thought I was drinking too much, she'd say, you're drinking too much, you're fooling yourself. And it's very blunt then. But it's still then ultimately down to me to accept that. And it just depends on what that relationship with the person is. If this is your other half you're talking about, I'm afraid there is no convincing another person that they are drinking too much. My best advice here is that you show them what sobriety is like. You live your best life sober. That is the thing that will make them the most curious about getting sober. When Lisa got sober, it was 12 months before me. She didn't preach at me. All she did was drop seeds, little crumbs all the time. So like, for example, on my 41st birthday, she turned up, she drank a couple of Heineken Zeros, drove home, went home, and had a lovely time, and that was that. But when she'd had enough of everybody twaffling and like repeating themselves, she just drove home. And I think that is the one that sticks in my mind, and yours, isn't it, if you're honest?
Yeah.
On that day, I would stop because I was self-conscious, drinking like I normally would when my best friend wasn't, for one. And I was also really curious as to how she was enjoying herself so much. So I think rather than trying to tell somebody you're drinking too much, you have to show them what it's like when you don't. That's the best way forward, because that's what created my curiosity about being sober.
Can I just say as well, my really complicated husband, not husband, whatever he is, he got sober through AA, and he's just hit 12 months actually on the 12th of April. And I remember that not because of him, but it's my mum's birthday and he tried taking it over with his celebration. But I asked him about this because when we was together, he was drinking really, really, really heavily. And so now he's sober, I kind of said, is there anything that I could have said or done when you were drinking to kind of for you to see that you were drinking too much? And you know what he said to me? And he was in massive denial. Like all that time ago, it was awful. He was telling me he weren't drinking when he was drinking, but he was in full denial that he had a problem, and he would go mad if I even brought it up. He was like really offended by it. Now he's been sober a year. He honestly says he knew all that time that he was drinking too much. So it's kind of like, but did you really know? Because you were so much in denial about it. But that's, I suppose, what denial is. He knew it, but he wouldn't admit it to himself. So I think they've got to really find their own way. And as much as you want to help people, and it's really, really difficult, because the only person ultimately that will realize is them, isn't it? And
yeah, I mean, they've said it's somebody not that close anymore, sadly. And I think what you can do is you can say something along the lines of, you know, whether it was a friend or whatever, you can sort of say, you know what, I'm a little bit concerned about what you're doing to yourself. I'm here if you ever want to talk about it. I've gone sober, if you're confident to say that. And if you want to find out a little bit more, please always ask me. You can just show the person that you're there and you will help them, but not try and push it on them. I think, you know, there's a lot of, in some of the other groups, our group's really good for this actually, but in some of the other groups, you do get a lot of people going back to day one and posting that they've had a drink and posting the pictures of the drinks. And it's a similar sort of thing. You get people saying, how dare you put that up? It's triggering, it's this, it's that. But in reality, you're never going to live a life where you don't see alcohol. When you turn the TV on, you're going to see it. When you walk outside, you're going to see it. When you walk to a restaurant, you're going to see it. It's going to be there in your face all the time. And it's the same with people who you can see. Think about what you were like before you got sober. Would you actually, really, if you're completely honest, have taken anyone else's advice on it? My answer is no, I wouldn't. I knew deep down that there was something that had changed in my drinking, but it was me to realize it and me to act on it. So I would say that's the way forward. But as a friend, if you are a friend, I would let your friend know that you are there when they want to take that step, if they want to take that step. And if not, you're still there anyway.
It's really difficult, isn't it? Because if it is a friend or something like that, you kind of don't want to spend the same time that you did with them, because it's not interesting to you anymore. It's like, in all honesty, for that, even like that year when I was not drinking and you still was, I wouldn't have been comfortable. Or not uncomfortable, but I just wouldn't want to do it. Like, if you'd said, oh, we're all going out just for a drink, like, after a few months, I was like, in my mind, it's like, oh, I don't really want to do that anymore. So you kind of do find that people drop off. People do drop off. And I think I'm frightened of saying this to some people sometimes in early sobriety, because sometimes that's your only social life. As it was for me, that was my whole entire social life, drinking. So if somebody had said, like, all them people, you're never really going to see them again, it would have freaked me out. But actually, I don't see them people. But what I have done is created new friends, and it just changes
what you want to do, what your life changes, doesn't it? And it does come back though as well, because like, I know you went out for a mutual friend's birthday not long ago, and you were quite comfortable staying out with them, weren't you? All
yeah, I was. It was the first time though. It was the first time that I'd gone out and everybody was drinking, and I actually really enjoyed it. I had to go and pick my daughter up, so I had to leave quite well, about 10 o'clock, 9:30 at night, and we'd gone out for brunch. It was a boozeless, not a boozeless, what do they call it?
Bottomless.
A bottomless, not a boozeless brunch, a bottomless brunch. So they were like necking it, but I actually really enjoyed it. It was interesting. Somebody's just said there, I'm worried about after lockdown, the excitement about celebrating.
I get it. I don't know where. Can you just pop another message in? Are you in the UK or are you overseas somewhere? Because I know that there's several social events going to be happening in the sober sphere as well. Sober Dave, who is an account on Instagram, if you don't follow him, he holds regular events, and we are definitely going to that one down in London. But there's also Be Sober Manchester, if you're up in the north. And there's other ones as well. If you just do a little bit of a research around that, there are other ones where you can go and meet people. UK, okay, so there'll be places definitely in the UK, not
some in Leeds as well.
But there are places where, so after lockdown, you need to think about celebrating with the right people. The other thing you could do is host your own celebration. So you take charge of that celebration. So you might decide to do a come dine with me night, or a games night, or an afternoon walk celebrate. I know it might not sound like woohoo, yeah, party like some do, but you need to think about what it is you want. If you're in London, right, this is easy for you, because Sober Dave's event is going to be in London straight after lockdown. Look him up on Instagram, look him up on
Yay,
we'll be there. So there will be other things, and that goes for anyone. So just try to find some sober friends. If you haven't got real friends, you've got your virtual friends, get online and search out sober events. I know Sober Girl Society as well, if you're female, they do a shout out every now and again, which is how Lisa met her first sober friends. And you can actually put down what area you're from, and it links you up with people. I would say organize your own celebration on your terms, the way you want it to run, because nobody's in charge of what you do. You don't have to go to these things, and sometimes it does mean you miss out, and that's a fact of life. Early in sobriety especially, protect your sobriety and see it as the joy of missing out rather than the fear of missing out. We say that a lot. FOMO, not FOMO.
Yes.
You know what? Who's going to be glad the next day when they're fresh and they're able to cope and they've not cracked? And it is scary. There's no denying it. There are going to be some massive piss ups after this. We know it, but that harms us.
But what you have got to see as well is a lot of people already, I can feel this from my personal Facebook,
You know what you're
because
going
you
to
can't
say?
get rid of everyone. Like my Instagram's full of sober people, right? All the groups I'm in are full of sober people, but my personal Instagram, you can't get rid of all the piss pots, can you?
No, you can't.
So you can kind of see that, and I think people will be quite fed up of drinking. There's a lot of people drinking a lot more from home and struggling at the moment. Can I just
It
say,
might be like after Christmas with dry January, and people want to actually have a break from it for a month. So
yeah,
for you to all tell them about the sober experiment or your piss pot friends.
yeah, tell them about the sober experiment. I just want to add something in it. Me and Alex were talking earlier, and we get a lot of messages from people. And one of the things we love to work on is mindset during sobriety, because so many people, when they do dry January, think, oh, I'll stay off the booze through January, and then they all go out at the beginning of February and get absolutely blasted, which is kind of like the after lockdown, isn't it? So there's going to be kind of them that want to go out and get blasted, them that want to take some time off. But our 30-day sober experiment, if you do know anybody that is thinking about stopping drinking, please tell them about the 30-day experiment that we do, because that really works into sorry, I'm getting distracted by reading messages at the same time, but it really works, help change the mindset. And if it's only 20 quid, 19.99, and they get a video of either me and Alex every day just helping them. And what we do is they get to work alongside the journal. So we've got a journal here. They don't have to download the experiment for this. They can just do the journal, and that's available on Amazon for, how much is it, Alex? $6.99?
I think it's $6.99. Yeah, and you can get a copy in the group.
We've got this in this Facebook group. You can download this journal completely free.
In the file.
And it's just got little ideas each day to keep you focused. So if you're
even if you're well into your sobriety, this will just keep you focused on something other than, just something else. And it's even got a little bit about healthy eating in here as well, hasn't it?
Yes, it's got a sober survival guide in at the beginning as well.
We've got it in the files, like Lisa said. The reason we tell you about the paid version is because some people really like the fact that it is pocketbook size. They don't have to print it out, and it comes with a little shiny back and front. It is really nice, the paperback version, but you can download it and print it off for free in the files. That does accompany our 30-day sober experiment as well.
So yeah, please tell people about it, because it does really help, especially in the early days. But like Alex says, it can be done at any other time. Oh, look at me doing this! I'm so impressed with my little self. Right, last thing. Or did you want?
Did you tell them about the emails? Because my little boy came in the room asking for Bobo, his teddy, so I got distracted.
Oh, I don't know. I think I got distracted. What, from the 30-day experiment?
Yeah.
I think I said they get a video every day of us. I did say that.
Oh, imagine that.
And, please don't worry, we don't go on as much as this. It's like literally 5
They're under 5 minutes, aren't they, all of them?
Yeah, 5 minutes. Right, oh, look, somebody says they like the notebook.
Yeah, it's got a little section to write your thoughts and feelings down in. It's got a little space to write your name in at the beginning, but it's exactly the same. It's just that you print off the PDF version, and Amazon will have it delivered to you in a couple of days as well. So, and it's not much. It's $6.99. I mean, it's a bottle of wine, isn't it?
Yeah, for you to actually feel amazing. Right. Oh, it's only little, that one. But
there's us though.
Everyone else got lovely professional photos.
I know, there's you and me like, oh, look at us.
So yeah, Saturday, which is tomorrow, we'll be live along with Sober Dave, Simon Chappell from Be Sober and Quit, author of the Sober Survival Guide, William Porter, who is author of Alcohol Explained and Alcohol Explained 2.
Can I just say, he's gorgeous as well. He's just gorgeous, isn't he?
We just love him. Somebody said to me the other day, like when they watched the live, she said, I just love it. She said, everyone's like talking about how they feel and their emotions. And then William comes on and like, right, fact, your brain does this because of this.
Yeah. If you're drinking, then you need to stop.
Yeah, he's just, if you've not seen him, honestly, you'll really like it. And then we've got the lovely Kate and Mandy from Love Sober. They have a podcast as well, don't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're live tomorrow with a special guest. Is that special? I don't know who it is.
He's called Scott Pinyard, and he's the head coach, or one of the head coaches at This Naked Mind. And apparently he's got the most magnificent beard. So if you're a beard lover, we haven't met him yet, but he's a lovely guy. I have seen him on a couple of lives actually, and he's on live with us at 4:00 tomorrow, and we're talking all about, well, we're getting rid of myths surrounding alcohol. That's what we're doing. False beliefs around alcohol, and it's at 4:00. So if you want to find that group, you just type in Sober Sessions, or if you go to the description of this group in our link tree, you'll be able to see the Sober Sessions Facebook link. You need to join the Facebook group in order to watch the live. Or if you just want to actually watch it afterwards, and there's 5 on there at the moment that you can catch up with, you can have a little look on our YouTube channel, and the other 5 are there so you can see whether it's for you or not.
Yay! What else were I going to say about that Sober Session?
Oh no, it wasn't.
We've got a brand new episode of the podcast out tomorrow with Julia Carson, and she's author of Sober Positive. Now, she's a really good friend of ours. Now, I love this. Has all come from being sober, hasn't it? Like, yeah. Who'd have thought we'd be sat here going like, oh, they were a very good friend of ours.
Yeah, like, who thought Claire Pooley would be texting me too?
That's like ridiculous, isn't it? It's like just the best lag. But Julia wrote Sober Positive, and her podcast, it's such a lovely listen. She's really honest. She goes, it's just really good, isn't it? It's a lovely,
she's just lovely, and she talks a lot about a really sad incident that happened to her in her 20s, and she's just gorgeous. You've got to listen to it. And then next week we've got Sober Dave on as well, and that was just like farcical. We just spent the whole hour I was laughing, didn't we?
Honestly, I can't wait for you all to listen to that one. And if you don't listen to our podcast, last week's one, there's some really interesting ones, isn't there?
Yeah, there are.
Last week's one, we spoke to a guy called George that is actually incarcerated on death row in North Carolina prison. And we managed to get a phone call with him. Like, come on, guys, what?
I know.
What did I just say? We spoke to somebody on death row. It's just so interesting, and you hear me say this through the podcast, like, oh, it's just raised so many emotions. I didn't know what else to say, because it just
raised so many emotions.
It just raised so many emotions. I just didn't know how to feel, and I didn't know how to feel for a week afterwards, if I'm honest. So
no, it was a strange one. But have a listen, and you can catch up on them on iTunes and on Google Play. So we helped you a little bit and broken up your day.
Yes, someone's just said that we've brightened up the lunch, and you know what? If we've just done that for you, then I'm a happy bunny today, and it was definitely worth coming on. So thank you, and we will see you all tomorrow if you join the Sober Sessions group. See you later.